What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune in and you check out the content. And with that being said, man, pretty soon, they got these contract negotiations and talks is coming up with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson put out a statement say, let me see what the statement said. We love for them to do the right thing by me. I think anyone would. I feel like I sacrifice, right? So, Jalen is definitely trying to get paid. Let me see what he think he or people are projecting that Jalen get 156.5 million over 4 years, right? Now, I don't know, I think he deserve it. Number one, I think that for what that Jalen brings to the table and how he's played over the last few years, I think he definitely deserve it, right? Um, but it's hard to say with the Knicks, especially with their ownership, man, like what they're going to do. They just hard to predict. Now, looking at it from the outside, I just think that Jalen Brunson he's somebody on the team that they can't really afford to get rid of right now. So you had the Knicks right now are in. Let me see what they're in. The Knicks are in third place in the East, right, and they're 35 wins right now and 20 losses. 8-2 in their last 10 games. And can you imagine if the Knicks messed this up and they allowed Jalen Brunson to leave or go somewhere else? That would just really set them way back. As a matter of fact, they would probably almost go into rebuild mode if they was allowing, if they allowed Jalen Brunson to leave. Because you really got to consider like Carl Anthony Town is not happy there anymore. I don't know. I think the Knicks will make a move or either, that relationship, in my opinion, is fractured. And I don't think that relationship between Carl Anthony Towns and the Knicks organization, not necessarily the organization, more so Mike Brown, right? And you you can't blame Mike Brown for wanting for his beef with Carl Anthony Towns, because Carl Anthony Towns, man, is just so inconsistent. You know, um and if you want your team to go to the next level, then you need Carl Anthony Towns, not just Carl Anthony Towns, but everybody else to step up. But mainly him because he's one of the leaders on your team, right? So with that being said, if Carl Anthony Towns is one of the leaders on your team and he's not really willing to step up or he can't step up, then you're gonna have to make a move and try to see if you can get somebody else in there. I think at this point in time in Carl Anthony Towns' career, I think he is who he is, like what you have seen from him, and everybody know what he is and they know what he brings to the table. So I don't think that situation with Carl Anthony Towns is going to get any better, which is another reason why I think that they really need to sign Jalen Brunson. Now if they sign Jalen Brunson, then they really need to have I think you need to sign Jalen Brunson if you're the Knicks, and you need to bring in somebody else to carry that share that scoring load with him. I don't know who's out there, but for right now, I think priority number one is to sign this guy, man. Because he really has breathed life into the organization over the last few years, man. It's just a whole lot of buzz around the Knicks organization and that fan base, and a whole lot of promise. The Knicks, in my opinion, if they don't sign him, just will be unwise for them just to start all over. Or if some kind of way, if he fell through the cracks, it would just be just would be unwise. Because when I think about the talent that they have surrounding him, they got some really good pieces, right? They got strong, they have some guys who are defensively really, strong. Like I said, really all they need is one more guy who can create for himself. Somebody who can create for himself. And because when you look at the East, in my opinion, when you look at the East, it's not really all that strong. They are ahead of the Raptors. The Knicks are ahead of the Raptors. The Knicks are ahead of the Cavaliers. Not by much. I think they're only like one game ahead of the Cavaliers. But I do think that the Knicks are better than the Cavaliers, especially now that the Cavaliers let Darius Garland go and brought in James Harden. I didn't like that move by them. I ain't like that at all. So, um, James Harden playing alongside Donovan Mitchell to me, I just don't like that at all. James Harden has never had any success in the playoffs. So let me see what and they're sitting at number 4. The Cavaliers at number 4. So the Knicks are really going to have to. I don't know, man. I just think that the Knicks, their biggest threat though are the Pistons and the and the Celtics. Now with the Celtics, both of those teams ahead of the Knicks really play good defense. The Knicks play good defense, so that's good for the Knicks. But I just don't think that I think it'll be an easier road for them to stay in contention. Just go along with the program basically because they don't have any choice, in my opinion, but to bring back this guy, Jalen Brunson, man, just to make sure that Jalen is happy because the East is just not all that solid. Like I like the Pistons at number 1. Pistons play strong defense. The Celtics play strong defense. And that's what you get out of these teams in the East. Like all these teams at the top 3 teams, the Pistons, the Celtics, and the Knicks, they really have good defense. And I think one more offensive ball player for the Knicks would definitely somebody who could create their own shot, I think would definitely just keep the Knicks in contention. So the Knicks don't have any choice, like I said, unless they're willing to go into rebuild mode. They don't have any choice but to play Brunson. I don't know what he meant by like he made sacrifices. I think he has benefited from having being the number 1 guy on the team. So I don't know what he mean by he has made sacrifices, but shoot, pay this guy his money, man, so the team can continue to move forward and get better, or at least stay in contention. But their biggest issue is not whether they're going to keep Brunson. Is what you do with Karl Anthony Towns. That inconsistency. I think if Karl Anthony Towns, man, just made up his mind he was going to play hard, I think they could come out of the East. If he was consistent and played hard, played up to his fullest potential, I think they could probably come out of the East. And that is their biggest problem, I think, is Karl Anthony Towns right now. Everybody else seem to be on the same page. Everybody else understand their roles on this New York Knicks team. It's just that you get that inconsistency from Karl Anthony Towns, and then that is where their weakness is. That's where the chink in the New York Knicks armor is Karl Anthony Towns, man. I hate to, you can't really make him the scapegoat, but I don't understand how this guy, what's his name, Thibodeau, was able to coach through that. And Mike Brown, he don't have the relationship with Karl Anthony Towns that Thibodeau had. So that's why that situation with them is just so volatile and so bumpy. That road is so bumpy with these two, man. But if I'm the Knicks, I got to get Karl Anthony Towns out of there, re-sign this guy, and just continue to, like in the offseason, just try to get somebody else who can help Jalen Brunson on that scoring end. I don't know who else is going to be out there. I doubt if you can get somebody through the draft that's going to step in right away. But I don't know what free agents are going to be out there that can really help Jalen Brunson on that offensive end. Or do you have somebody on the team that can really step their game up like that? If once Karl Anthony Towns is out of the picture, then maybe somebody on the team. I don't see somebody on the team, nobody who could create their own points on a consistent basis like that. I don't see that. Just not besides Brunson. So, but yeah, I think that the Knicks will definitely They gotta sign this guy because they don't have any other choice, or they'll drop probably to the bottom of the East if they allow Brunson to slip through their fingers. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you think, man. Should they give Jalen Brunson this 4-year contract, 4 years, 156 million? I think they should. I don't think they have any other choice if they will, if they want to stay in the top 3 in the East, if they want to be, in contention in the East. I don't think they have any choice but to give him this money. But let me know what you think. That's my take on it. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.